At first it was annoying. Now it's an integral part of the day. Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Now that I've had to go beding, I need to turn off the bedinger.
Power off.
One day I'm going to remember to charge that speaker. It's a Bluetooth speaker, and that's the only thing I have for when I'm not using headphones is sound from my consoles. I need a better speaker, but hey, you know I'm going to be homeless at the end of the month, so got better things to spend my money on. So, first thing, let me get my topics list up in front of me. Oy vey! My arm muscle. Everything was just bad here yesterday. Oh my god. Before I'd even touched it back here, it had been not that good. I mean, I talked about how my arm was heavy and the springs and such yesterday. It only got worse. By noon, it was horrible. So, I mean, there's no telling what happened. I mean, the touching it back here, that didn't do it. Everything was already on fire before that. It was better than it had been, but still not good. It was ramping up. This got bad. Oh, the cramping all through the afternoon was horrific. It was not good. Altogether, I barely could use that arm just because of the pain. It's not feeling great right now, so I'm going to try and not overuse it right now. I mean, I don't know what's happening up here, other than there's pinching and entrapment. And then it got this going, which irritated and inflamed the nerve, which irritated and inflamed the muscles, which irritated and inflamed the nerve, which irritated and inflamed the muscles. So, that was joyous. Hopefully not going to do that today. But life is life. I mean, it was terrible, but I still managed to get some Dead Island done. I did some editing. I played some video games. Not much. I mean, my video game playing, both on console and on PC, has really been curtailed by this. I mean, I'm not lying in bed anymore. That's a plus. Thank goodness for that. But it is so hard to use this arm just properly for anything, because while the muscles may be acceptable, oh boy, I don't know what gets the nerve going. It may be that there's absolutely nothing I am doing on my own that is making the nerve go insane. It might be just entirely because of the entrapment and nothing that I'm doing. It might be that I'm contributing to it, but not causing it. I mean, the entrapment up here is causing it. So, the whole thing I'm trying to say is, I don't know if there's anything I can actually do that makes it worse or better. So, all I can do is try not to suffer. Joy on that. One thing I wanted to talk about. This is a Mike Lambeau solitaire wargame book. And then over here I have a lot more, like 5, 6 or 7 or something of the other Mike Lambeau solitaire books. He hasn't stopped. He does not stop. He started in like just 2022. And he is already showing another proofs for another of his books that's coming out. 20 maps, but it is English Civil War stuff where they're fighting against the French. And so you have 10 of the maps you are the British on the bottom of the map trying to stop the French on the top of the map. 10 of the maps are flipped with little differences, but you are the French trying to stop the British. So you've got 20 maps, but they're flipped, and that's fine. Now, a couple things that I've discovered. I went online on the Boardgame Geek for the Mike Lambeau stuff. There is a whole bunch of files in the file section, like new maps, an entire campaign for this rule system, and somebody has a Microsoft Word doc on how to create your own scenarios for this book alone. So each of these games is different, and they usually have vastly different rules with vastly different focuses. And I was thinking, I have mentioned before that I think my inside, outside, razor's edge, kaiju, cryptid stuff is rich enough that it could be novels and graphic novels and comic books, even TV stuff and movies, etc., etc., etc. There is the possibility of that much. I mean, I talk about the human urban cryptid stuff a lot, but all of my cryptid setting and all that involves things like Mothman and all that. I mean, it's every cryptid out there falls underneath this setting and more. I just happen to talk about this particular subset of cryptids because I like these people, quote-unquote people. But I was thinking, and I don't know where it came from, that there's an idea in my head for a board game. Series like this. I don't know why I put a period and then made a new sentence out of that. That was really weird. For a board game series of maps, and like this, with one set of rules. But it's Night of Terror, CE 1114. The Night of Terror is when the kaiju eats 12,500 people. Now, in living history, the kaiju has only ever eaten about 5,000 or 6,000 people. And while that may be a lot at times, it was also the Rampage's scaled to the population. So, they never gave names of like violence and horror to the Rampages. When people would recover and make like t-shirts and posters, it was something like a point of pride that you survived. I survived Fridge Raid, CE 1108, which is an actual thing. Everybody in Apple Rock is still very disappointed about the Rampage in CE 1108 because the kaiju only ate around 650-ish people. And everybody's really disappointed that it didn't even eat 1,000 people. And so the official name for that Rampage is the Fridge Raid. Everyone talks about it's like, you know, my mother was on vacation, and then she came back afterward. Why didn't she stay? I mean, she could have helped the kaiju reach 1,000 people eaten. Just, and so they're very disappointed. Through living history and back, the kaiju Rampages have been given names like that. It's only this one, where the kaiju ate 12,500 people, 15,000 people dead in total, out of Apple Rock having about 20,000 people, and the surrounding supporting village type things about 5,000. There are only about 10,000 people left out of 25,000 when this was done. The Night of Terror, CE 1114. So, I was thinking, what kind of board game would you make about that? Because when people in crowds were running to escape, the kaiju had so long with points of interest where they could put focus on it and then try to make things happen. And then things would happen. So you'd have crowds of people running for the life with the kaiju behind them, grabbing wads of people as they ran and just eating them as they were trying to escape. And they'd be running down a street and then something would fall and the whole street would get blocked off. And then the mob would realize they're trapped. And the kaiju would eat every one of them. That fell because the kaiju planned the entire Rampage like a symphony, an opera where everything had to go perfectly. And it did. Crowds of people that went to places where they thought it would be safe And it wasn't, and the kaiju eats them all. So you'd have a whole bunch of counters that would be about 13 people. So you'd have anywhere from 10 to 11 counters. And then each map would be a block section. And then when you have your characters, you're trying to get the counters. No one's going to make it to safety. You just have to keep at least one counter alive by the end of the turn counter at the bottom. Because at the end of the turn counter, the kaiju's still going to eat every single one of them. But if you can keep them alive until that point, you win the scenario. And the kaiju, well, for the kaiju, each turn that it's on a hex map, and for each hex there are six surrounding hexes. Those 3 are the front hexes. The kaiju, every turn, automatically from those 3 front hexes, 2 of those counters of 13 people each, it eats them. 26 people eaten every single turn. You only have like 100 and some odd. So it's eating 2 of your counters of your 12 every turn that their people are in reach. And you've got to move your counters, and there'll be rules for moving and rules for the kaiju. Remember, it's all just a game for the kaiju. So while it wants to eat everyone, it also wants to terrorize everyone. And so it's not going to be moving in the most efficient fashion and devouring everyone as quickly as possible. You could even make a die roll to see how many handfuls of people it's going to eat. And remember, when it grabs a handful of 13 people, IRL, in the fictional setting, about 13 of those 13 people, approximately, average, about 4 of them are dead or seriously injured because the kaiju wants to make sure nobody falls, and the kaiju has claws. So an average of 4 people to hold that handful, you don't really survive when a claw comes down, pierces your rib cage, and halfway tears that rib cage out of your chest to hold the rest of the people down. So out of those 13 people in a handful, about 9 of them are alive when they're wedged into the kaiju's mouth, realizing that they're inside of its mouth, and they've seen it eating people. Each one of those 9 people wants desperately to live. They've been the main character of their story all their life. They can't just die now. But the mouth is closing, and the teeth are starting to pierce their bodies. And then in just 3 chews, all of those people are just a mouthful of sloppy ground meat that the kaiju swallows so it can wedge in another handful of 13 people. Make a game out of that. What else do I have on my list? Yesterday, I'm taking a look over at my time. I have had my sense of routine broken because I had been walking during the daytime, doing my vlogging, going on walkies. Lately, doing my vlogging, recording some Dead Island, going for walkies, coming back, editing, blah, 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 and then the rest of the day for myself. Yesterday, I don't know what it was, but I didn't go walkies during the morning time. I stayed home. And I finally, around 9 o'clock, made a walk to Safeway and back. Because I had to buy cat dirt. I couldn't put it off. So I did not do my main walkies yesterday, and that feels weird because I need routine, but my arm hurt. I was just not feeling it. You only have to do 2.5 hours of moderate exercise every week as a minimum to keep your body healthy. Ever since I've gotten up, even pushing a walker, I am doing a good 2.5, sometimes 3 hours of moderate exercise still every single day. I can afford to not do a full 6-mile walkies in one day. And so while I felt weird because of the break in routine, I also didn't feel too bad. But yeah, hopefully I'm not going to make that a habit. Anything else on my list here? Yeah, kind of. This is this is kind of a total indictment of the American society and all. Because there was a European cop who sent a message to Beau the Fifth Column where it was, how can they talk to black people and not freak them out? Because there was reports of a disturbance in a place. And this one cop went there. Went slowly to find out what was going on. And the couple was arguing about who had left the insulin back home. And as soon as they saw the cop, the guy was, I am complying. I am complying. Hands up. I am complying. And that really disturbed the European cop because they're not American cops. They don't just immediately kill black people for being black. And that really bothered the cop. As over in Europe, it's like they're arguing about who left the insulin. You give them insulin. Insulin is cheap or free. So you just give them insulin. Problem done. But he was wondering what to do. And Beau's first response and first answer is, if your superiors will let you do this, say, we are not American cops. Over in Europe, it is a consent, well, not everywhere, of course. Things are different, especially where they were, though. I think it's Denmark, the situation. But policing is more consent-based, whereas over here in the U.S., it is domination-based. Step on you fast, step on you hard. They don't do that. I like their system better. But yeah, it's the biggest advice that he had was tell them we are not American cops. Yay! So past that, I've been trying to think about my creative setting. I have situations and people that I've been thinking about that I never managed to remember. I've got all sorts of stuff that is going on with it. So hopefully I'll remember and write stuff down. I mean, I do want to talk, to get this out there so people can read it or hear it or something. So, and of course, I made a shorts out of my Dead Island walkies yesterday. And even though I took the video clips from monetized videos, once again, the shorts demonetized. So, yay! We'll see if in 5 days that sticks. I can't remember what else I was going to talk about. There is one thing that I do want to remember. I tried to drag out Ironsworn and do it, but it's an imposing book, and so I could not. One of the things I want to do for the channel is to make characters for the game. Make characters for the game. Ancient Odyssey's Treasure Awaits with the expansion book More Treasure Awaits. It is a very cool, simple little role-playing game from 2012 that is very cool. You can play it solo, or you can play it with co-op, where you have a bunch of players, but the GM is the book, or you play it with the GM. All the rules work, and it has random dungeons. And while the combat is more abstracted, it's also not, because you have a little board because you have your characters that are far and near and melee range, which you don't need the board for. All you have to do is figure out which of your characters is in range. But that's a board that helps you figure it all out. And I will do it, of course, in a digital fashion. So we will go from there. Yay! And I still want to do D100 Space and more D100 Dungeon with the expansion stuff. I've got so much I want to do. Executive Dysfunction is great. So, while I cannot write down here any of the people that are my Patreon patrons, I do want to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. Thank you so much. You help to keep me alive, and it is appreciated. Thumbs up and thank you. I do want to thank everyone on who's left me comments in the past 24 hours. I'm just going to have to say thank you for leaving me comments in the past 24 hours. Each comment is a ray of sunshine in a very dark cave, because things have sucked all of my life. 2023 has been horrific, and I still don't know what's happening in the very near future, and it has the possibility of being absolutely horrific too. So thumbs up on that. You gotta laugh. You gotta laugh or you're gonna cry. It's better to laugh. I mean, if you're gonna get upset, it's gonna be horrific and you're gonna be upset. So if it happens, just laugh. Just laugh. Chalk it up to a new experience. Laugh as best you can. Wipe off the dust and the blood, and one step in front of the other. One step, 1 foot in front of the other. Our lifetimes are journeys of however many steps it takes. And since it's just, you know, the longest journey starts with a single step, he said, screwing everything up and forgetting everything that he was trying to say. You have to just keep putting 1 foot in front of the other to reach the end of that journey. So thumbs up. Hopefully I at least clarified it here enough. Yay! So I'm going to do my best to take it easy. I am also going to record Dead Island. I'm going to do my walkies. I'm going to try and relax. I'm going to try and play video games. There are so many games I want to play that I've got that, I mean, I've still got Dishonored that I've played enough, but only about 15%. I need to finish that. Great game. Prey. Great game. So many bloody games that I want to play. So many games that I wish I could play, that I wish I could afford. Call Me Kevin played one that was some sort of a very intense survival game. If I could ever afford that one, I'd like to get that one. That's something for the future, though. When at least I've got a place to live. So, hopefully you can get done the things that you can get done. That would be a very good thing. And how do I usually say it? How do I usually say it? So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is indeed a very, very good thing. Yay! Thumbs up for that. There we go. Turn the controller on so that I can turn everything off. Thumbs up for that. You take care.